Hi yogis, I'm dedicating this sequence to my beautiful, perfect angel granddaughter, Olive, who's 3 days old today. May you stay forever young. Coming into child pose and starting to focus your attention on your breath, engaging your ujjayi breath gently in a non-forced way. Don't force anything in yoga. It's a gentle breathing in and out through the nose, creating a vibration at the back of your throat so that you can hear yourself breathing, and the sound is a bit like the sound of the ocean. Take a deep inhale and exhale your arms to the right. And come back to center on the inhale. On the exhale, bring your hands over to the left. If you want a deeper stretch, place the right hand on top of the left, feeling a stretch all the way down the right side of the body. Inhale back to center. And bring your hands behind you, clasp your fingers together and raise your hands up to the ceiling, shoulders and chest opening, gently. Bring your hands down and reclasp your fingers with the other little finger on top. It feels a little bit weird to do that. And inhale your hands up to the ceiling again, just opening the shoulders and chest in a very gentle, kind way. Come up to tabletop on the inhale. And on the exhale, drop down gently onto your right shoulder. Left hand comes behind your back, tuck it into the right thigh if it reaches. Extend the left leg up, and as the left hip is dropping down towards the mat, raise the left leg up, looking up to the ceiling if you can. A little balancing posture there. And bring the knee in, release the hand, push the left hand into the mat, come back to tabletop. Take a deep inhale here. On the exhale, come down gently onto the left shoulder, looking up to the ceiling. Right hand comes behind, tucking it into the thigh, or just pushing the back of the hand into the lower back. And as the right hip is dropping down, raise the right leg. You might roll over, no problem at all. Never take falling personally. And breathe. Bring the knee in, push into the mat with your right hand, and come back to tabletop. On the inhale, extend the right leg out and the left arm out, pulling in the belly and the ribs. Looking down to your hands, flex that back foot, engaging the core, finding the stability as you flex that back foot. And coming back down, bring that knee down and extend that lower right leg over to the right. And raise the left arm and the left leg and come into a little balancing posture here in a side bend. Come back around to the other side. So left leg extends, right arm extends, pulling the belly and the ribs up, flexing that left foot. Looking down between the hands. And then bringing that leg down, opening up that lower leg to the left, leaning into the left hand and raise the right arm and right leg, flex that right foot. Nice side bend as well as a little balance. Breathe. And release, coming back down to tabletop. Walking the hands, one hand length in front of you, tucking the toes under. And it's coming to your first downward dog. It's walking your dog out, coming up onto your tippy toes, bending the knees, pushing the chest towards the thighs, walking the legs out. Swinging the hips, moving the hips around, make this your own unique downward dog. Just opening up the body, opening the hips, the calf muscles, the hamstrings. Just feel into that any way it feels good for you. Coming up onto the tippy toes again, really pushing the chest into the thighs, bending the knees, accentuate the bend in the knees, and then extend the heels down to the mat, straightening out the legs. Pulling the chest in, lifting up the sit bones towards the ceiling. And take a walk halfway in towards the hands. Place the right hand on the outside of the left ankle and look under your left armpit and pull into that left ankle with that right hand. So it's a little twist. We're going to try a little balance here, lifting up that left hand. First we're going to, this is a tricky balance, so it looks easier than it actually is. So just focus on the breath, engage your core, squeeze the inner thighs together and raise the right leg, and then see if you can raise that left arm. Beautiful. I lost a little bit and had to find my balance with the right hand. No problem at all. Come back down and change hands. So bring that left hand to the outside of the right ankle and twist your torso around so that you're looking under your right armpit. Nice twist there. So we're going to try that balance on the other side. Lift up the left leg and then raise the right arm, keeping that left hand on the outside of the ankle. It's quite tricky, a little bit of fun. Come into Uttanasana, forward bend, and rooting down through the feet, rise up, hands to the ceiling, and back down to your heart. Inhale the hands up, and exhale down into Uttanasana, forward bend. Inhale out of Uttanasana, and step back into plank. Squeezing the inner thighs together, the outer thighs into the middle of the body, really engaging your core. Pushing the heels to the back, raise the right leg. Breathe, and on the exhale, float all the way down, keeping that right leg raised. Inhale up into Cobra. Shoulders back, chest comes through the gateway of the shoulders, looking forward. Tuck the toes under and come back into Downward Dog. Breathe. On the inhale, floating into plank. Exhale. Inhale that left leg up, flexing the back foot. And notice I move forward slightly before I float down, keeping that left leg raised. Inhale up into Cobra. And then exhaling all the way down. Hands to the chest, tuck the toes under. Push up into plank, see if you can push up without leaving your belly behind, without arching the back. Back into plank. Holding plank for a moment, and then back into Downward Dog. Look forward, step to the front of the mat on the inhale, exhale all the way down into Uttanasana, and rooting down through the feet, inhale all the way up, and hands into Samastiti. Inhale up, exhale all the way down. Inhale halfway, exhale, step the left foot and then the right foot come into plank, chaturanga, upward dog, and back into downward dog, remembering to breathe with every movement. Inhaling into plank, but extending the legs to the outside of the mat. So the feet are on the outside of the mat. Do a little balance here. So bring the right hand behind you, back of the hand, pushing into the lower left thigh, and raise the left leg up. It looks easy, it's actually quite tricky. My hips should be probably down slightly for it to be a little bit more challenging. Come back into downward dog, and then extend back out into plank. My hips aren't down low enough. You could lower your hips more if you can. Bring that left hand behind you, push it into the lower right back, and then raise that right leg up. And release. Come back into downward dog. Inhale the right leg up and bend the knee, the heel dropping into the direction of the left hip. Bring that leg through and come into warrior two. Sinking down into that front leg, pushing into the outside of the back foot, lifting up the inner thigh of the back leg. Come back down into plank, chaturanga, upward dog and downward dog. Breathing, inhale the left leg up and opening up that hip, heel towards the right buttock. Breathe, realign the hips and inhale that knee through, the leg comes through between the hands, turning the back foot around, come back into warrior two, sinking down, making sure that front knee is opening to the left toe and not collapsing into the middle of the body. Shoulders are over the hips here. And windmilling the hands either side of the foot, come back around into downward dog. Inhale into plank. Exhale into chaturanga. Inhale into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward dog. And exhale into downward dog. And take a breath here. Just finding your dog. Bend at the knees, hop to the middle of the hands and bend into Uttanasana. Inhale up, hands to the heart, Samasthiti here. And take a tree pose here. So I just turn around to the front for a moment, just standing in Tadasana. Bring yourself to the front of the mat and come up into tree pose on the right side. So sole of the foot pushes into the left thigh, inner thigh. Inhale the hands up. Hold the drishti point in front of you to stabilize. Helps to keep balance. Bring the knee forward. You can stretch out that leg. I didn't have room there. And then bring the foot back and come down into warrior two. Breathe, inhaling and exhaling here. Inhale into peaceful warrior, sinking down into that front leg. Exhaling into warrior two. Inhale into side angle, elbow coming onto the knee, or you can take the full side angle, the left hand coming to the outside of the foot and extend that arm over the ear. Rotating the ribs if you can, as much as you can up to the ceiling, looking up. Step that back foot in. I'm just moving back a little bit to get a little bit more space. And come up, lifting up that back leg. Left arm comes forward and slightly to the right. Raise the right arm, rotate the body to the right and come into Ardha Chandrasana. Flex that back foot to stabilize. Look down to the mat. Bring that right hand down. And we're going to just very, very gently step back into warrior two. Windmill the hands either side of the front foot. Come back into plank, chaturanga, upward dog, and downward dog. Remembering the breath on every movement. Bend the knees, hop to the front of the mat. Coming down into Uttanasana and rising up into Ardha Uttanasana. Hands to the heart. Come into tree pose on the left side. And raising the hands up to the ceiling, pulling the belly in here, pushing into the inner thigh with your left foot. Inner thigh pushes into the foot, opposing forces. Relaxing the shoulders here. Extending the knee forward, extend the leg out if you can. I didn't have enough room, but you can do that if you want to. And extend that left leg back, turning around into warrior two. Sinking down into that front leg. making sure the knee is not collapsing into the middle of the body, protecting the integrity of the knee. Inhale into peaceful warrior, sinking down into that front leg. And then coming back into warrior two. Right elbow comes down onto the knee into side angle, or all the way down into full side angle, your choice. And extend the arm over the ear, looking up to the hand if you can, opening up the right the left ribs. Bring the hands either side of that foot, walk the foot back in, right hand comes forward and slightly to the right, and raise the left arm up to the ceiling, rotating the body around to the left. The foot flexed, the raised foot flexed, creates the stability in this pose, engaging the core. Look down, bring the hands down, bend that right knee, and step back into warrior two. Really sinking down into that front leg, windmilling the hands down, come back into plank, chaturanga, upward dog, and back into downward dog. Floating into plank on the inhale. On the exhale, coming to side plank. On the left side, raising the left arm. And I was coming into tree pose in plank, but I lost my balance. So here we go, in tree pose, inside plank. And bringing the arm across the ear. And instead of releasing that plank, see if you can come back into plank, chaturanga, and then come back, keeping that leg in tree pose. Little balancing posture there, really strong for the core. Come into tree pose on the right side, raising the right hand. Bring that right foot up, come into tree pose in side plank. Right arm extends over the ear. And then keeping that leg in tree pose, come back into full plank on the inhale. Exhale into chaturanga, keeping that leg there. Inhale up into upward dog and back into downward dog. That was a little bit tricky for me. I had trouble coming up into upward dog. Work in process. I come into Uttanasana, holding on to the big toes. And just relax down, releasing and resting in this forward bend. Just allowing the breath to come back to natural breath. Inhale, walking the hands out into downward dog. Exhaling out here. Take another deep inhale and exhale. Bend the knees and hop or walk to the front of the mat. Inhale halfway, exhale down. Inhale all the way up and exhale down, hands into Samasthiti. Inhale into Utkatasana, chair pose. Lean into your heels here, hands to the heart. Take a deep inhale and exhale the body across to the left, right elbow pushing into the outside of the left thigh. Bring the hands to the middle of the heart, middle of the chest, looking up to the ceiling. Step the right foot back, lost it a little bit there, no problem, just finding that balance again. Looking up, open up the arms on the inhale, pushing the back heel back. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Come into a bind if that's in your practice. Left arm comes behind, right hand comes underneath the thigh and clasping the hands together. Release. Chaturanga. Upward dog and back into downward dog. Breathing here. Bend the knee. Hop or step to the front of the mat. Inhale halfway, exhale down, and inhale all the way up. Samasthiti here. Inhale back up into Utkatasana. My butt's sticking out a bit. See if you can tuck your tailbone under here. Rotate around to the right. Pull that left knee back. Mine's a little poking a little bit forward here. Step the left leg back into high lunge. And bringing the hands to the center of the chest in that twist. Opening up the arms, right arm comes up to the sky, looking up if you can, and taking the bind here if that's possible for you. Hands framing the foot, coming into chaturanga, upward dog, and back into downward dog. Breathe here. Breathing with every movement, keeping the focus as much as you possibly can on the breath. Come down to the knees and take a little resting child pose. The more you can regulate the breath and keep the breath moving and flowing with every movement, the more the energy flows and flows the body. Especially with more difficult and challenging poses. Upward step to the front of the mat, inhale halfway, and exhale all the way up, hands to the heart, samasthiti here. Inhale back up into Utkatasana. Bring the right leg across, coming into Garudasana, legs tucking that foot behind the left thigh. And the left arm comes across the right arm. Holding onto the hands, take a deep inhale, pull the belly in. And on the exhale, folding over there. Squeezing everything into the middle of the body. Using the core to stabilize here. Inhale back up, unravel the leg and step back into high lunge. Squeeze that right buttock, protecting the lower back. Sink down into the front leg. And raising the elbows up and away from the body. Lifting up into a little back bend here. Breathe. Coming back down, releasing the arms, bringing the arms up to the ceiling and lowering the back knee almost to the mat. Inhaling up, exhaling down, inhaling up. Cross the arms into Garudasana again, push up with the back leg and bring that right leg into Garudasana. Hold here, breathe, establish your core here, and come back, hands to the heart. Inhale into Utkatasana and come into Garudasana on the other side, tucking the foot if you can around that lower left calf. If not, just keep it to the side of that left leg. Garudasana arms, pull the belly in, squeezing everything into the center, taking an inhale and exhaling, folding forward here. The trick here to maintain balance is to really activate the core by squeezing everything into the center of the body. Lifting up the elbows up and away from the body, step the left leg back into high lunge, squeezing that left buttock to protect the lower back, sinking down into the front leg and raising the elbows up and away from the body and gently coming back into a little back bend. Inhaling back up, raising the arms up to the ceiling and exhaling, knee down almost to the mat. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up again. And on the exhale, coming to Garudasana arms, pick up that left leg and cross it over the right leg, coming back into Garudasana. Hold Garudasana for a breath and release. Beautiful. Hands to the heart. Samastiti. Inhaling up into Utkatasana again, folding forward into Uttanasana. Inhaling to Ardha Uttanasana, jump back into Chaturanga. Upward dog on the inhale and exhale into downward dog. Inhale the right leg up and open up the hips, dropping that heel to the left buttock. Keeping the shoulders aligned. And breathe. Drop that right leg back, come into a little wild thing here, opening up, little back bend, opening up the right arm, dropping the head back, and coming back into downward dog. Inhale into plank, chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, upward dog, exhale, downward dog. And then hop to the front of the mat, inhale up, exhale down, and inhale, hands up to the sky or the ceiling. Come back into Uttanasana, fold forward, inhale halfway, hop back into Chaturanga, bend the elbows, inhale up into upward dog and exhale into downward dog. Inhale the left leg up and dropping back into wild thing, little back bend. Coming back into plank, chaturanga. Inhale into upward dog and exhale into downward dog. And breathe. Come to the knees and take a little rest in char pose. Come onto your butt and come into Navasana, lifting up the chest, releasing the arms if you can, crossing the legs over, come onto your knees, step back into plank, chaturanga, upward dog on the inhale, and downward dog on the exhale. Breathe. Inhale the left leg up. Open up that left hip, dropping the heel towards the right buttock, keeping the shoulders aligned. And drop that foot down. Inhale the right leg up, opening up the hips again, the right hip this time. And lowering down. Inhale, come onto your knees, come back into char pose. And just take a little break. Always take a break in char pose wherever you need to. Highly recommended. And just rest. Yoga's not meant to stress out the body. You need to gauge that for yourself. Come up into downward dog. And walk forward, come onto the tippy toes. And come into Bakasana. I didn't have enough room for my head here, so I'm not able to lean forward enough to raise my legs up and then jump back into Chaturanga if you can. Come up into upward dog and back into downward dog. You might want to pause here and then practice that again, have another go. So walking the feet in, and I'm going to have a go at side crow balance. So come into Chaturanga, arms on the right side with the arms in the middle of the thigh. I had a lot of coconut oil in my body because I was on my way to the beach when I decided to do this sequence. So I was slipping. I'm having a go on the other side. Just really coming to Chaturanga, arms, opening up the legs. That's a little bit better on the other side. Yes. And Cyrus has come in to supervise. And crossing the legs over in seated position. And I'm placing my feet, not that Cyrus is allowing you to see that, but I'm placing the soles of my feet together in Baddha Konasana. Taking an inhale and then folding forward with a straight back as much as possible to a seated forward bend. Osiris is doing a downward dog at the same time. Pick the right lower leg up and come into rocking the baby. So the foot is in the crease of that left elbow and you're wrapping the right arm, interlacing the fingers together, and I'm just opening my right hip here, seeing if I can get a little bit more mobility in that right hip. Then I'm going to bring my right leg over the right shoulder. Bring the right hand behind, which actually puts the brakes on that right leg slipping down your arm. Bring that left leg, hook it into the right foot. So the left leg hooks into the right foot. Lean forward into chaturanga arms. Extend the legs out. Lift up the hips. And come into, come into a little balance there. That was the best I could do at the time. And come onto the other side. So this is really nice preparation. So being able to just get some movement, some more movement into the hip joint. Just rocking the baby. Appropriate pose for my new granddaughter, who is absolutely divine. Now bringing that left hand behind, so you're actually putting the brakes on so that that left leg can't come down your arm. And coming to chaturanga arms, lock that right foot into the left foot and lifting up the hips, extending the legs. I got the giggles then. Yeah, just a little bit of fun. Have a go. It's a process, which I am still in as well. So lying on your back, bring the knees up to the chest and just rolling from side to side. And placing the hands down, coming up into full wheel. The way I come into wheel is I actually establish my hands by keeping my head on the mat, establish my hands and feet into parallel, and then I raise the body up, straightening the arms. And just lower down, feet are on the edge of the mat and the knees are together. One hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Very soothing. Breathing, just resting, allowing the breath to come back to natural breath. And that position with the knees together like that is really soothing for the lower back. And then coming up into another wheel. I didn't stay too long in that one. And lowering down, this time with my feet in Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined Baddha Konasana. So the soles of the feet together, knees open, one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Cyrus is helping me out here with this resting pose. He's placing his hand, his paw. He's actually wanting to get to the beach, so he's kind of wanting to give me a nudge and say, come on, hurry up. Let's get this show on the road. And coming up to seated position. Now I'm going to come up and move my mat to the wall and come into a forward lower arm stand. I'm just going to kick up. I'm still not able to feel comfortable or safe doing this pose away from the wall, so I do it up by the wall, and then I have attempted to, I'm balancing for a little moment off the wall. And then come into child pose, arms behind you, just relaxing the shoulders here. Just a quick little inversion, a little downward dog from Cyrus. You can pause here and practice that again if you like, or practice a headstand, any kind of inversion here. And it's coming to a spinal twist. So notice my right hand is up by my right buttock, and I'm twisting around with the left elbow pushing into that right knee, looking over the right shoulder, changing sides. Left hand comes into the left buttock, raising the right arm up. Really, on the inhale, extend the spine before you rotate around, getting some elongation in the spine before you twist. And breathe. And release the twist, extending the legs all the way out, raising the arms up to the sky, and folding forward. And I'm just using my breath here to extend the spine out. So I'm taking an inhale, lifting up the head, extending the spine on the inhale, and then on the exhale, I'm softening down more into that forward bend, hinging at the hips, pulling the belly in, and coming up into Garudasana again, and folding forward. Really great for the hips. Open, surrendering a little more into the hips. And come all the way down onto your back. And before we go into full savasana, come up into happy baby. Of course, this is a celebration of the birth of my granddaughter Olive, and this happy baby pose, of course, will forever remind me of her beautiful little precious angel soul that's come into our lives, so overjoyed. And then I just felt like doing a little roly-poly here up, and then rolling the spine all the way back. And it felt really good to stretch my arms back at this point here. It's a really nice feeling to just surrender onto the mat into full savasana, relaxation pose. Cyrus is very familiar with shavasana, and he always takes shavasana with me. He knows what it's all about. Take a moment to stay in a mindfulness practice here of staying present and awake, using your breath as a tool, noticing your thoughts, and consciously making a choice to come back to the breath, your most powerful and most available tool to bring you into the present moment, moment by moment. Very gentle, caressing breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. Just allowing your body to sink heavily into the mat. Completely surrendering, integrating the physical asanas. And just starting to reawaken your body, stretching the arms out behind you, taking a deep stretch from the tip of the fingers all the way to the tip of the toes, all the way through the body. Bring the knees into the chest, hugging them in, rolling from side to side. And then when you're ready, rolling over onto the right side and coming up to seal the practice in cross-legged position, hands to the heart in prayer pose. Anjali Mudra. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste.